Hey, and welcome to our Game of the Year video. I'm Jake Baldino, and we're keeping it simple this year. You're busy, you got things to do, and frankly, we've been kind of running out of ideas over the last couple of years. I mean, just the other year we did it in an abandoned mall. So we decided for this year to just keep it chill, laid back game discussion like we always do. We got the gameranx video team members. We all kind of came to the table and pulled together some of our favorite games, and we got a list here that is some stuff you'd expect, some of the big name stuff, and a couple of surprises. Now, don't take this as like the definitive games that we think everybody should declare the game of the year. These are just some of our favorites, so count this really as just like a friendly recommendation, like you're talking about games with your friends. We figured with these recommendations, we figured maybe it would be a little bit of a better way for you guys to get to know what our deal is, who we are. We're also really looking forward to hearing yours. If you got your own top 5, definitely leave it in the comments, because that's going to be fun for other people to maybe find new games. But that's enough spiel. Let's get rolling. The first game is a bit of a surprise. It was chosen by Eric, who is our gameplay capture guy and writer. It's actually technically an expansion. This is The Outer Wilds: Echoes of the Eye. You probably remember back the year The Outer Wilds released, we put it pretty high up in a lot of our Game of the Year awards, and this is kind of like a follow-up to that. This adds even more mysteries to the base game, and depending on who you ask, it might actually be even better than the regular game, especially according to Eric. Discovering this DLC's secrets is just really satisfying. The entire design of the place is brilliant, and it's even more of a complex simulation than the original game. And there's just something satisfying about spending most of your time on a singular planet rather than flying through space like the main game. The whole thing is very tricky, and at times is the scariest thing that we've seen in years in terms of this stuff, like stressful, but it feels so good when all the puzzles click into place. And the story is surprisingly interesting to uncover. They just do a really good job of building up suspense. Really, long story short, it's an even better version of the already awesome original game, The Outer Wilds. Switching gears, next on our list is Hitman 3. Now, this is my choice. I wanted to put this on the list because it's just a really damn good Hitman game. I've been playing these games since the literal beginning, the first game on PC. And it took me a while to click with the World of Assassination trilogy. You know, I was kind of like weirded out with how they were releasing it and stretching out the content, but with 3, it finally clicks because everything about it is just so top tier. The way they roll out stuff, the level design, the complexity of the kills, and all the things you can do. I got a lot of playtime out of this, and I've said this in other videos, but really part of the reason why I've kept it on the Game of the Year list for us and for me personally is because I've been thinking about it since it came out. This came out at the very start of 2021, and I've been thinking about it since and continuing to revisit it. And that, for me, makes it a good game. Fun factor, replayability, that's all I can ask for. Next on our list, we have a recommendation from Andrew, our longtime video editor, and Falcon, our bird. It's Deathloop, specifically because it takes what works about Dishonored and experiments in the kinds of game loops we are seeing in shorter, more borderline arcade-type games cropping up. Like, Deathloop takes all those fun gameplay elements and abilities and mobility and simulation-type stuff from Dishonored, but it doesn't really impede you at all. It encourages you to be a murder machine. It acknowledges that murder in video games is fun. Not in real life, but in games, and it encourages you to do it in creative and fun ways. It's definitely not going to be a 10 out of 10 for everybody, but for the people it really clicks for, it clicks for. The weapon types are cool, the vibes are cool, the challenge can be cool when other people invade your games, really more than anything. This isn't a surprise, this is on a lot of people's lists, but we also really liked it. Next up, we got one you may not have heard of. This is from Falcon. It's Eastwood. We chose Eastwood because it combines pretty much every kind of 90s RPG, action RPG, Studio Ghibli type thing into one, and it's really contemplative and joyful. This one is kind of like if you're into old school games and you're just looking to nestle up, like cozy up with a good old video game comfort food. Eastward is probably your best bet, at least for this year. Now, moving on, 2 of our guys, Atol and Eric, both chose Resident Evil Village. It's that classic Resident Evil survival horror gameplay thrown into first-person style, and it worked in 7, and it works here. There's a ridiculous plot, Resident Evil style, there's entertaining bosses, and it's constantly mixing things up with new encounters, enemies, and scares, and it has entertaining performances like, of course, the big vampire lady, and Heisenberg just hamming it up like crazy and being so weird. It's basically a combination of Resident Evil 7 with Resident Evil 4. It's a little short, but wildly entertaining for the length. It's just like a big, long, horror best moment roller coaster ride. It's also graphically fantastic. It's fun to look at. Environments are awesome. Enemies are super gross. The twist is super dumb and crazy, Resident Evil style, and we're just excited to see where it goes next with a possible Resident Evil 9. Now, that series has definitely departed from what it once was, but this new thing is still very interesting for us. Now on our list, we're changing it up a little bit with Forza Horizon 5. This was chosen by our video editor, Juan. It's fun as hell, and like a lot of these games, it's like a technical marvel in terms of the visuals. It really felt like a next-gen game, which is nice and still a fresh thing. At launch, it didn't have too many technical issues, which you can't really say about a lot of games this year. Not only that, the environments are a blast to explore like they always are in these games, but this one had a ton of variety and great attention to detail. And Juan is Mexican and really appreciated how Guanajuato was like represented and just all that attention. But the sense of speed is unmatched, collecting the cars is addictive, and honestly, yes, it is more Forza Horizon, but it's a good one. Next up on our list, something chosen from myself and Eric, is a game that just hasn't really gotten enough love this year, we think. It's Psychonaut 2. This is an amazing and creative sequel to one of our favorite games that just improves upon the first and pretty much fixes all of its issues because the first game was so old, but it still feels like they're just jumping right into the next one. Of course, it's by one of the more creative game developers, Double Fine, and its lead Tim Schafer. They always make unique and creative games. They're usually a little rough, but Psychonauts 2 is like their tightest and most polished game yet. They worked on it for a really long time, and it shows. It's paced really well, the music is great, the world design is creative, and the story is surprisingly dark, heavy, and interesting. We were all here expecting to be maybe a little bit disappointed by this one or just whatever about this one, but it totally blew us away. Next on our list, Andrew brought to the table Returnal. Returnal just felt like a really kick-ass way to break in your PS5 if you manage to get your hands on one. It's a really cool sci-fi vibe, but it's also incredibly challenging. The developers just make really solid, addictive, and playable games. That intensity to it, the run-based gameplay, definitely isn't for everybody, but it really clicked with some of us here at gameranx. The weapons were satisfying. Celine, the protagonist, and like her story, the mystery behind it, kept us interested, but it was just yet another one of those games that was like, oh, just one more run, just one more run. It scratched that like video game raw itch, you know what I mean? And we just wanted to give it credit for that. Now, next on the list is my choice. You might think this is corny, but Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't do the before you buy video for this. Eric and Falcon did, so I played it just a couple of days later, and I jumped in and I was completely blown away. My expectations were super low, and I loved having them blown out of the water. It's weird to recommend this one because I actually don't think the gameplay is like the best thing in the world. It's pretty fun, and when you ramp up the challenge, it's even better. But what really hooked me with this game was the story, the world building, the characters, and just the embracing of the comic book roots. On the surface, it just looks like the James Gunn Marvel movie, but when you dig deeper into the characters and all the little details in the world, this is a game made by people that love comic books, and we haven't gotten a lot of games like that. We used to get games like that all the time where random comic book characters would show up and it would be so much fun, but now, since Marvel and DC is just this ginormous thing, you don't always get that charm like you used to. It's so corporatized, but thankfully, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy really did it for us here. I truly think that story, if like you're a fan of the characters, you're a fan of comics in general, if you're a fan of Marvel, is really worth experiencing. Now, next up on our list, pretty much everybody voted for this one, specifically me, Juan, and Andrew. It's Metroid Dread. It managed to be a classic Metroid experience while also feeling new and fresh. You know, it took that foundation that was laid in the pretty good Samus Returns on 3DS and then just made it like 10 times better. Samus has never controlled so good, environments have never just been so good looking and interesting, and it did a really good job at capturing that alone in space vibe that Metroid has always done really well. The story's cool, it's pretty straightforward, but it manages to make Samus even more badass, and it also has like the best Metroid ending sequence out of all the mainline Metroid games according to Andrew. It is just solid top to bottom. For me specifically, it was like a nostalgia thing where it just reminded me, oh yeah, older style, classic style games are so good. That's why we fell in love with this stuff in the first place. We also got some bonus games to recommend. The first is, for me, it's Chivalry 2. If you want like your own, like turn off your brain, mindless multiplayer game. I don't play a lot of multiplayer games, but I really love the action here. It's like Mordhau, but a little bit more accessible, and it's gory and dumb and violent, and I loved it. Also, our video editor, Daniel, wanted to recommend, this is technically a re-release, but it's the Scott Pilgrim game re-release. It's important to just point out because of video game preservation and how it was delisted for a while. while, and it made a triumphant return this year. Ubisoft resold it and like repackaged it, and it is still just so good. It's like a forgotten gem. It's like a technically maybe a movie tie-in game, but not really. It's more based on the books, but it's still just so good. Another thing he also spent a lot of time with this year is Super Mario 3D All-Stars. It's just a nice little collection of some classic games that we really love. Did Nintendo really do a good job of porting them? Not really, but still, just we wanted to shout out those games in particular. And also another choice from Andrew and the rest of us here is Valheim. This game completely surprised us. We thought it was going to be yet another survival, build your own thing type of thing, make your server, mess around, cut down trees, hunt, but it is just so much better. It paces you along really well, it's compelling, it's really well made, it's beautiful, it sounds great, and it hooked us for a while. And one last one, Riders Republic. We were genuinely surprised because we mostly don't like games as a service type games, but this one hooked us. The extreme sports downhill thing is really cool. We don't think people have talked about it enough this year. That core gameplay is just really well done and satisfying. But those are some of our favorite games from this year. Like I said, more of a casual thing, so you can kind of just get to really know what we're into here, and that's about it. So we wanted to just say thank you guys for watching all year. Seriously, you just watching feeds our families, puts bread on our table and stuff like that, so thank you for coming by. Hope you have a happy and safe holiday season, Happy New Year, all that stuff. Thank you for being here. Like I said, please let us know in the comments your own top 5 or your own top 10. It might, recommend some other people some games that maybe they haven't heard of, or, maybe you'll make a friend in the comments section. Does that still happen? That used to happen, right? Can friends be made in the comments section of YouTube in 2021? I don't know, but crazier things have happened. Thank you guys for watching. Clicking the like button does help us. We would very much appreciate that. But I'm Jake Baldino. Pizza's on me. Have a good one, guys.